It's a pretty nice way to introduce this first opponent of Senju Doji's minions. We've got, what is it, Puppet Master, I think was her name was. And then we've got the Dollhouse, as it's being named. And it's actually done pretty well. The series did a pretty well job this chapter at making it creepy. I did like that, because when you have a series that clearly hints more towards horror in like a good amount of times, then it has to have a degree of of spookiness to it. And I imagine that's very difficult to do in a manga format, just because like one of the things with horror is that it's heavily put into through the medium. You have obviously the music, and then ways to use both the music and character voice acting, whether it's animated or real. It really helps set the scene. But Phantom Seer has done a pretty well job at least making things feel spooky, even in parts. Like, you don't have that because it's just a manga right now. Maybe like this is one of those things that if Phantom Seer does get an anime, I feel like they'll be able to enhance drastically through the anime. But like during the chapter, we did get a really interesting first display of these guys, of like the dolls. I thought we would get like another chapter or two before we get into the conflict. I figured like starting this, okay, they're gonna like maybe have some recon and do some intel stuff, but it looks like already we're now in the swing of things with this puppet master. I don't know why they went with Dollhouse, but then like Puppet Master is the name. Like, why didn't they call her Doll Master or something? Because it still is pretty spooky of a name, and clearly using these porcelain dolls, is something that most people, I imagine, find pretty spooky. Like, I don't really know anybody that really likes those. Like those were for some reason very known. A couple generations ago, I remember like growing up, my mom had one, and I don't know anybody. Like, I'd never heard of anybody like around my age group that would have had one. But as far as I know, like that just was something that older people liked, and for some reason didn't find extremely creepy, with their spooky eyes always wide open, and it looks like they're staring at you. But like the scene when they're being shown around the dollhouse, and they mention, there was one line that was actually really cool too, is because they're talking about this guy who was the owner of the mansion, and he was a collector, and he was collecting all these dolls, and there's a comment that says, "I'm not collecting the dolls are using me to collect them." I thought that was really cool, just in the general wording of it. Like, they're somehow forcing him to get them and put them all in one place. I thought that was actually pretty spooky. But the point when they all end up looking over at Riku, that's like something that you'd see in a movie. Like, I can easily see that in, like, what is that, the Annabelle movie, or any horror movie that's gonna have dolls, or just what's that one, Silence or something, or it's like you can't yell, you can't really speak if the doll lady attacks you. I can't remember exactly what movie that was. As long as you don't make a sound, she can't kill you or something when she goes to scare you. I can't remember exactly what the movie was, but I'm sure a lot of people know what I'm talking about. But like something like that you'd see in the movies, and like that didn't really get me. Like, I saw that part, I was just like, okay, that seems pretty standard, a creepy move that I've seen done a bunch of times, and it didn't really do anything for me. But the thing I really actually liked was when they went to this next room. The guy's like, "Oh, this was the master bedroom." Blah blah blah. Just kind of like going around doing a tour of the house, and then you have Iori look over at Riku, and he's like, why are you holding on to that doll? And it shows the porcelain doll with like a big piece of its head missing. And I went back to look because I didn't notice it in the panel while they were looking, and I thought that was just really cool that they used one that was in that scene, but very very quietly, because it was like right in the middle in the back. So was one that didn't get a lot of emphasis, but it is the only one that's damaged. So I was wondering about that. Like, is this one more important than the others? Is there anything specific about it that is, you're gonna take note of, or it could just be one that's damaged? Who knows? But after that point, like you have it like shrink down Riku and Iori and like put it into its like weird chest prison. The thing though that has me a little concerned is like they can't use their powers in there. Like Iori brings out his ring and isn't able to call upon on Gyoki or anything. So that just says that, one, they're introducing a way to constrict people's powers, which I do think is one of those things in series you usually should have. It's very standard, but it gets people out of a lot of situations, and I imagine it's pretty helpful, especially when you have, like, if you have the main character with some, like, OP abilities. It's like, okay, we'll just have something to lock them in place. But then we add the tour person end up getting like this weird spooky neck and just extending out. And I don't think Enma, and I don't remember the other guy's name yet, but looks like they're about to show whatever their power is. Like, pull out these, like, he pulled out his ring, and I didn't see, or sorry, ring, key, and I didn't see anything that would, like, display his abilities. Like, I see Enma bring out his, like, little Tengu, and he's got his cool spear. So this other guy, I'm guessing, like, we won't get to see what his power is until the next chapter. But I think that that's going to be really cool just to see them do some exposition fights on this lower level opponent. And this guy, you know, anytime you get a character showing off a new ability, that's always fun. I mean, as long as it's not like boring Power Magoo, like, just give him something that's interesting. Doesn't have to be crazy, doesn't have to be some, like, 10 out of 10 power, but as long as it's cool, just giving him, like, some phantom that gives him whatever element or whatever kind of, like, I mean, you could give him something, maybe even like a short-range teleport or, like, phasing through stuff. I mean, that gets into a little bit of a stronger power to him. I mean, you can really give him, like, would be just like a really basic power. Give him plants or something. That's a super basic ability, but it would still be cool to see. Because I don't think I almost said Undead Luck. I don't think Fantasy has anything like that, because we mostly have, like, we have what, shadows, the weird eyeballs that Yayoi has. We have, was it Kurose's fire, Riku's disintegration barriers. I know, something pretty fair, but not crazy. I don't know, I didn't really think about what his power would be until they start talking about it in the chapter review. It was one of those things, like, when I initially read it, I was like, okay, we'll get to what his power is next chapter, but I didn't really contemplate of what it could be. But then I don't really paid a lot of attention to this character, so I don't know if it's, like, been hinted or stated. I'd have to go back and look. But he does say that he's compatible with Enma, and Enma's is sound, so maybe this guy's just water or something that can carry sound. So I don't know the exact numbers, but I know that, like, sound underwater travels faster than sound in the air. I think it travels, like, slightly faster. I have to look into the science behind it, but something that is going to make Iori's better, I would assume, or, like, what if you can do stuff with mirrors or stuff with, I don't really know what else. I'm just trying to think of something off the top of my head, but I think water would be pretty fair and basic. Unless this guy's going to be a bigger deal, then maybe give him something more kind of complicated. But either way, I thought it was a pretty good chapter. I've mentioned that I really like the fact that we've got these opponents now, these new, actual, useful, and, like, not useful, but, like, more memorable, and, well, they're more useful than Senju Doji, but more of a actual, hey, these are the bad guys. Whereas the last guy, I already forgot his name. The doctor nurse dude, he was lame. I'm looking forward to these people that are, like, the five of Senju Doji, and seeing what exactly their abilities are going to be. So I'm looking forward to that. I definitely want to see what exactly, like, makes each of them so special that Senju Doji picked them, as well as, like, what are their other abilities that Senju Doji has given them. I mean, it could easily just be that weird putting things and other things power that the nurse dude had, because it would maybe make sense of, like, these dolls, but I feel like they're all going to have their own variation of a power, and maybe that'll be like, oh, well, whatever Senju Doji does, it manifests and gives them their own power, or these are all just Senju Doji powers all split up or something. Either way, interested in the next chapter. I want to see where things go. I definitely really want to see this dude's this dude's power and how it works with Enma. But other than that, comment below, thumbs up to the friend, like, and subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Other than that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed. Thank you all for listening. Bye.